Hello and welcome to Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I am Colred. Thank you for joining me. So today is Monday, April 15th, and that means this is your weekly planning video. Now, there's a lot going on this week. So in addition to talking about all of the daily and weekly timers that you normally have to consider, we're also going to address the special events, tournaments, things that are going on in the game so that you can plan accordingly to get the most out of your time in raid, the most out of your resources, and also hopefully enjoy your gaming experience as much as possible. I hope you're ready for it. Let's get started. Just a quick reminder that we are in baby time right now, and so the schedule is unpredictable for the foreseeable future. If you want to get updates on how that schedule is going to roll out as we figure it out, make sure to become a member of our Discord community. My editor, whose name is Sun, will be manning the fort, and you can also reach out to him with any questions you have. Thanks so much for all of the supportive comments. You should know that I do try to read the comments and answer as many as I can, but obviously right now it's a little bit trickier than normal, so if I'm not answering your comment, please know that that is not an intentional slight. And anyway, I hope you understand that this is a busy time for me. Okay, while you're here, if you could do me a favor, just hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well. That would be fantastic. Thanks so much for supporting Colred Plays and supporting me in this time. And yeah, let's get back to our video. So I do try to keep these weekly planning videos as short and efficient as possible so you just get information and not a lot of fluff. Today, we're going to start with the weekly timers, the daily and weekly timers, just as the reminders. Then we're going to move on to the bigger ticket items as we progress through the video. So let's start with the same place that we always start with, which is the clan tab. Remember that your clan quests are going to end in 14 hours. 14 hours. It looks like I haven't even picked up my personal weekly quests this week. Not surprising. It's been a really busy week. But if you're like me, you can still pick up the quests. Try to find something, even the basic ones, that you can maybe do in the next 12 hours to get yourself some clan gold and also support your clan with, additional quests that are going to get your clan that XP and advance your clan up, which helps you in the clan shop, right? Because the higher the level of the clan, the more items you have available in the shop here. Remember that the shop does refresh at the same time as the clan quests do, so you may want to come in here, get your champion fragments, get your energy, get your revenge accessories, whatever you need here, or maybe you just save up for the next reset. But if you're going for like Yakarl or Yenica, make sure you get your fragments before the reset. Heading over to Arena, the reset happened last night, so remember to change your defenses if you need to, or, go ahead and plan when you're going to change your defenses. I highly recommend in Tag Team Arena putting in a one-man defense today, and then just setting like an alarm on your phone or something to remember to switch back to a full defense, usually about 48 hours before the reset at the end of the week. For Classic Arena, you probably want to put in your full defense again. So rather than go to a one-man defense, make sure you put in your full defense for like the first day or so, just until you get a little bit of a cushion, and then put in your one-man defense. Please, one-man defenses are so much better than full defenses for the community. So let's see what I've got going on here. I've got a one-man defense right now. I actually generally don't take out my one-man defense, but if you need to make that swap to make sure you maintain whatever level you're trying to maintain, then put in a full defense now. And then remember that once you get enough battles, right? Once you get your 20 battles, it's not as important. Once you have your certain number of losses, it's not as important to maintain that strong defense, because generally activity is going to keep you where you need to be. So as long as you're doing your offenses, you should be fine. As is the case every Monday, we look at Hydra Clan Boss. You can see we have a day and a half left. Remember about the 4-hour difference between Hydra Clash and the Hydra Boss key reset. So you'll get your keys 4 hours after Hydra Clash ends. So don't get stuck. Like I did last week, I was able to get a key in, but I actually finished like 5 seconds after the Clash ended. It just happened that way. And so my key didn't count towards Clash, even though it did, in fact, count towards the boss chest for the week. So, if you can do 1 or 2 of those keys today, get them out of the way before waiting for the last minute, that's a good thing to do. But yeah, help your clan out with the Hydra Clash. Get yourself your Mithrala fragments if you haven't collected her already. Get those accessories as well. It's just a generally pretty good return on investment. It does take a while, though. So, plan ahead. Doom Tower is coming to an end this week. We have 4.5 days left. I think that means we have today's, I think we still have 6 sets of keys left if you haven't used your keys for today. So that is up to 60 floors that you can get. Don't forget about your secret rooms as well. It might take a little time to do secret rooms, so you don't want to leave those for the last minute either. I try to start them in the last week because I want my champions to be as progressed as possible, and I may be advancing them over the course of the month. But now that we're here in the last week, we need to start picking up those secret rooms. Make sure you get your champion fragments, and then hold on to those champions for future champion chases. That's usually a good thing to do, unless you really need it for progress somewhere. In addition, if we look at Cursed City just reset a little while ago, so we still have 3.5 weeks there in Cursed City, but I highly recommend that you get into a habit of when you use your Cursed City keys. You can see that I don't have my keys used for today. I usually like to do them after reset, so I do them in the evening. My reset is 8 p.m. for the server, so I usually try to do them before I go to bed, but last night I wasn't able to get through them. This is something that's really easy to forget, and there's so many good resources here. Remember that if you can't complete the hard mode levels, you can always drop down to the normal levels and get, easier resources there if you're that progressed. Likewise, get the bosses done, consider early in the day if you're going to need to level up champions in a champion training event or, something like that. So this is good to just check in on early after the server reset. Just a note, there is no CVC this week. Next week's CVC should be personal rewards, but you never know. Sometimes that doesn't happen the way we expect it to. So just be aware that you might want to be holding on to whatever resources you use for CVC to maximize your points, such as tomes, maybe champions you want to fragment champions you want to summon during that time, whatever else you're doing. Typically, I also do Great Hall during CVCs, so consider, holding on to your Great Hall medals and using those during the CVC. But again, we have a whole week to wait before the CVC is active. Now let's get into some of the special things that are happening right now. We obviously still have the Astrid Fusion. We're getting towards the end of that. We'll take a look at the event calendar in just a moment, but this should be ending in the next few days. If you don't already have your fragments, there are only a few events left, so make sure that you check up on the fragment totals so that you don't miss out on this champion if you're going for her. We do have a 100% gear removal cost reduction event that is going on only for 1 day, unfortunately. So this is a really good opportunity for you to do any re-gearing for champions, work on Centranos a bit. We were talking about that. Go in there and use your keys. Make sure you can get past any blockades that are there so you can continue to progress, cheaply, right? Because the gear removal cost is going to give you an opportunity to do that. Also, if you're looking for any rebuilds for like Hydra teams or your clan boss team or a faction crypt team, this is a good time to do it. We do have a Holy Summon Pool summoning event going on with the Prism shards. So there are going to be some events and tournaments that we'll see on the event calendar that will be awarding these Prism shards. So the pool is pretty good, actually. We do have the new Sacred Order faction unity champion, I guess you would call him, right? We do have Falmond, who's very cool. He's got a great haircut. We've also got some other good champions here. I like the Sacred Order. There are some excellent epics here. We've got Mordecai, who's fantastic AoE HP burner. Sanguinia, who was my new discovery in the recent HH free-to-play challenge. Absolutely great cleanser, block debuffs champion. Can actually make her really tanky as well, so very good support. We've obviously got Deacon, who's one of the best epics in the entire game. Other champions as well, like Anchorite and Phoenix, that you can use in various locations. And I think all of the legendaries are solid. They're all usable. Martyr is one of the few AoE counterattack champions in the entire game. You've also got an AoE HP burner in Cubitus here. So if you are interested in making pulls, remember you only need 30 Prism shards or crystals or whatever it is in order to do this. And you do have a 6% chance of a legendary, so that's like a sacred shard. So it's not a bad option here. There's not going to be any double dip, but if you're interested in this, go ahead and check that event calendar and see where you can get your Prism shard. We do have a special event going on right now, which is that Hero's Path. 3.5 days left here in order to get your 5-star soul for Astrid. Now, if you are not going for the fusion, obviously you don't need the soul here. You could still get it in the hopes that you pull her from a shard in the future, or you could focus on getting some legendary tomes or mythic tomes if you need those instead. There are a bunch of different options here with some pretty good rewards. Now, in terms of the actual mechanics for getting points, this is basically a champion training event. So you can see level upgrades and rank upgrades will get you points. In addition, you can summon souls from soul stones, and that'll get you points. The question is, is this the best time to pull soul stones? We now have 2-time soul stone events. You may not want to pull soul stones for this, but if you need those points in order to get that 5-star soul, and that is something that you really want, then you may need to pull those soul stones as well. Now, as far as the path is concerned, it's nice and direct. There are no keys that you need to get, so you can come down either opening side. That's 1,500 points. You need these mythical charms, so that's going to take you to 4,000. And then the points are the same all the way down. So 11,000, looks like 23,500. So 73,500 points to get your 5-star perfect soul. Based on the point totals that we're getting here, you can check out and see how much you're going to have to do. You can certainly do some of this in the tavern with brews, but if you're looking to do it based on energy, it's going to be a lot of energy. Quick estimate is somewhere around 20,000 energy. So it's going to be as much as a fusion, but you're only going to have 4 days to do it. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask. Obviously, if you're a spender, you're going to have access to maybe more soul stones here, and that might ease the burden on the champion training. But for free-to-play players, remember that this is a significant investment. Now, the upside, the one good note is that the next fusion doesn't start until May 9th. So we have 3 full weeks before the next fusion. And I think that what's going to be taking that time is actually the Adeline Chase, or Adeline. I like Adeline. But the Adeline Chase is actually going to be going on for several weeks, because we have the 14-day login rewards, and then we have phase 2, which is going to be another 21 days. So this is actually going to go long enough to run into the next fusion and actually pretty much probably match that fusion. When that fusion ends, this will be over. So I don't expect another Titan event or something in the meantime, which we would usually have. And that 3-week break in between fusions is significant. We typically don't get that much time in between fusions. So unless they throw another event at us, which they may throw another Hero's Path at us or another Titan event that we're not expecting, it feels like this is going to be the focus moving forward. Because once we get to phase 2, we have all of these active things that we need to do in game. So I think this is what's going to be happening. That's just speculation on my part. I don't know for sure. But so as a result, if you wanted to really invest in this Hero's Path and get that 5-star soul, you may have time to regenerate your resources after this, before the next fusion. So going for this soul shouldn't, hopefully, prevent you from going for the next fusion entirely. Still be careful. Calculate your resources. Every player's different. Every account's different. So judge for yourself. But be aware that we don't have to worry about the next fusion until May 9th. Right? And also, so just some clarification here. If you're not aware of this, there will be 14 days of login rewards, at which point phase 2 will start. So phase 2 can't start until day 15. You have to get to day 15. I think maybe on day 14 it'll start. Who knows? But I think, you need to get all of these login rewards before you can actually unlock phase 2. So you can't rush it. You can't push it. You can't purchase your way into it. You have to wait the 14 days to make sure to, log in every day, even if you can't play, just so you don't accidentally delay, the phase 2. But you only get phase 2 for 21 days. So if you know that you're not going to be available for the first few days of these 21 days, maybe skip a login, right? Don't accidentally activate this and then start your timer on it when you can't be in game to play. I don't know how challenging this is going to be, but if you're interested, you can come here and read the chase information. What it says here is once unlocked, you will have only 21 days to complete the chase before it disappears. To earn all the phase 2 rewards, you will need to earn at least 50 chase points per day. 21 days times 50 points is 1,050 points, which is what you need for the 5-star soul. Now, you can earn a maximum of 75 chase points each day. The excess won't be kept, but that means that you can do this potentially by only getting 2/3 of the points available. So this feels like maybe it won't be too difficult to get all the points you need to get the 5-star soul. So keep an eye on this. Obviously, we're still more than a week out because we're only on day 5 here. So, we'll be talking about this in the next couple of weeks in the planning videos as well. So here we have the Plarium Play calendar. Some people have asked me to post this in the Discord or take a picture of this. Unfortunately, it's an interactive kind of thing. So sometimes you have to scroll up or down to get the whole picture. And then obviously, the date you can only see by changing it. You can see also that this only goes up to Friday the 19th, the morning of Friday the 19th. So we don't have any news about events past that point. We are currently in the Fusion event, the Summon Astra Dream Song with Champion Fragments. So you can see when that ends. That ends on the 17th, probably again in the morning of the 17th. As far as the events that are still part of that Fusion event, we have the Classic Arena that is going on. You can see that. That ends also on Tuesday. That ends tomorrow, so really late tonight. Ice Golem also ends. You can check all of these timers in game. I highly recommend you do so. And then we have the Dungeon Divers. We have the Artifact Enhancement. And that is it. Those are the last 4 events that we have for the Fusion. So count up your fragments. Make sure that you have a plan to finish off this Fusion successfully. Go ahead and check the in-game timers in the events and tournaments tabs so you see exactly how much time you have left to get those fragments that you need. Now, as far as the Prism shards are concerned, we do have a Sand Devil turn attack. This is a common thing that we've started to see. This also gives soul stones. So if you are going to do the Astrid Hero's Path and go for that 5-star soul, you may want to come in here and do this Sand Devil turn attack. But again, that takes energy, right? That takes energy. So I really think that you only want to do this if you are interested in the Prism shards and in the soul stones. And again, you can check that calendar of rewards or that whatever the menu of rewards in game to see if it's worth the investment in energy, because this is a champion training hero's path. So any energy you put into the Sand Devil isn't energy you're putting into champion training. So make sure that that trade makes sense for you before you commit to one or the other. Now, I do expect that there will be additional events and tournaments that should be rewarding these Prism crystals in the near future, but we don't have them out just yet. We know that the actual summon event happens for 4 days, and you can see that this only happens for 3, really. So this ends on Thursday. I expect there'll be maybe one more event that might be launched towards the end of this. We often don't get that many, Prism shard events, so it might be the only one. We don't know. But watch this calendar if you have access to it, and watch the in-game events calendar as well to see if there's another Prism shard event that comes our way in the near future. Okay, that is just about it. Just one last item to remind you of, which is that we do have the May Fusion Skills Vote. We're into round 2 for Vault Keeper Wixwell. So you could go ahead and click on this, go to the details. It'll take you to the voting site, and then you could vote for the A2 this time. So just so you know, the A3 was the defensive-based skill. So it's likely we're going with the defensive-based champion. I would highly recommend we not split up the skills. It feels like, based on the leaks, if you haven't seen them, that the synergy is already built in. So since we chose the defensive A3, we'll probably want to choose the defensive A2 and A1, but you can make your own choice. It's up to you. But don't forget to vote. Okay, that really is it for now. In the comments below, please let me know a couple of things. One is, did I miss anything? Put those in the comments so I can pin them to make sure that everybody gets that information. Second, moving forward, do you have any suggestions on how to improve these videos? I want to make sure that you still find these as useful as possible. Okay, that is it for me today. Thanks so much for hanging out. I have been Colred, and I will see you in another video soon.